So Jon Jones recently came out and said that he is willing to relinquish the heavyweight title to face Alex Pereira for a BMF title. We're gonna read this. We're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna give you my opinion. And yeah, before we get into it though, if you like the video, subscribe. It helps a lot. We've been gaining a lot of subs and viewers over the last month, and I greatly appreciate it. Anybody who likes, comments, subscribe, any of that stuff, I love you all for it. And yeah, we're gonna get into it. Jon Jones willing to relinquish the heavyweight championship, pitches BMF title fight against Alex Pereira. Jon Jones might want to add another championship to his resume after UFC 309. Just days away from returning to defend his UFC heavyweight title against Stipe Miocic, the main event from Madison Square Garden in New York, the incumbent champion addresses his race in comments where he stated rather emphatically that he had no interest in facing Alpha Tom Aspinall, but instead suggests a potential showdown with the reigning light heavyweight champion, Alex Pereira. While he's faced blowback for the declaration, Jon Jones stands by his decision, but he's also not looking to hold up a division or stop Aspinall from claiming the title once he's gone. In fact, Jon Jones says as much as he likes the idea of defending the heavyweight title against Periera, he'd be willing to give up that belt with hopes that a different championship could potentially go up for grabs. It'd be cool to fight over the heavyweight championship, but I would also willingly give up the heavyweight championship, Jones told Sportsnet on Monday. I walked away from the light heavyweight championship. I'd love to walk away from this one as well on top. On my own terms, good head on your shoulders, making lots of money. I love the position I'm in right now. Fighting Periera for the BMF belt, that would be cool. We both have two belts and two weight classes, and the night we fought, we both be fighting for our third belt, which would be the BMF. The BMF, how cool would that be? Jones suggested a BMF title throws a whole new wrinkle into potential matchups, especially given his long history as arguably the greatest fighter of all time, while Periera quickly earned a reputation as one of the nastiest knockout artists to ever compete in the UFC. This is the current BMF. There's a current BMF champion in Max Holloway, but that belt isn't exactly weight class specific. The first ever BMF title went to Jorge Masvidal after he defeated Nate Diaz at welterweight, and then the belt moved to Justin Gaethje following a vicious knockout over Dustin Poirier at lightweight. Gaethje then lost his belt to Holloway at UFC 300, but who's to say a second BMF title couldn't get introduced for Jones and Periera? We're gonna get into this idea later, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I love the idea. I know not everybody likes the BMF belt, but I like the BMF title for this fight in particular. As much as Jones likes the idea, he also takes issue with the way things have played after he essentially dismissed Arsenal as a possible opponent worthy of his attention. Arsenal might have an interim title wrapped around his waist right now, but Jones doesn't believe that belt should have been introduced in the first place. It absolutely should have. I like. Again, I'm a huge fan of Jon Jones, but you were gone for, what, year and a half, pretty much now? A torn pectoral muscle prevented him from fighting Miocic back in November 2023, and in his absence, the UFC crowned Aspinall as the new interim champion after he knocked out Sergey Pavlovich. In Jones' opinion, that fight ultimately created more problems than it solved. The interim champion shouldn't have been there in the first place, Jones said. The only reason why there was an interim championship fight was because I got hurt and they needed to keep the importance of Madison Square Garden event. With Sergey Pavlovich and Arsenal shouldn't have been fighting. I just read that. There should have been a replacement fight, a main event. I think making it an interim title fight was premature. Now you have a bunch of confused people. Jones believes he should have been given the opportunity to heal up from his injury and just return to defend his championship without an interim title lingering in the shadows. When you have a dominant champ that's been around as long as I have, there was no reason to put an interim championship belt out there, Jones said. That's the repercussion of Madison Square Garden last year. Well, okay. So, it is no secret. I'm a Jon Jones fan, right? All my videos, if you watched any of them, I made it very clear. I've been a fan of Jones basically my whole life. One of the most entertaining fighters, in my opinion, the greatest fighter of all time. You can say whatever about steroids, but every single fighter in the UFC it works like they're on steroids. Anyways, after accusing hundreds of fighters, an entire organization of steroid use, like, okay, Tom Arsenal is the definitive number one contender. He's beaten majority of the ranked heavyweight contenders in the division by first round knockout. His only loss was due to injury, which he avenged to win, or no, not to win the interim title, to defend the interim title, which is the first time, well, not the first time, it's in defend. The interim title has been defended before, but like it was not a good look for the UFC, not a good look for Jon Jones. But okay, the Alex Pereira fight is the biggest fight the UFC can put on right now, whether you like it or not. Conor McGregor is not coming back. I'm sorry to say it. Conor McGregor is not coming back. This unless he can get this lawsuit against him cleared up quickly, there's just no way he's coming back. But Jon Jones, if he beats Stipe, he would have been the greatest heavyweight of all time. People are gonna say he be an older, retired Stipe. Yes, Stipe was out for 2 years after being knocked out by Francis Ngannou. A fight that he was working really good in, by the way, and against a guy he beat before, dominantly. Either Stipe quite spoiler, or Jon Jones will add the greatest heavyweight to his resume. After that fight, you have two options that we've been discussing. You can go with Tom Aspinall, who is on a similar run as Francis, has beaten everybody in the first round, potentially beats Jon Jones, giving him his first loss, since the other one against Matt Hamill will be overturned, and those decisions went his way at the end of his light heavyweight run. But a win over Alex Pereira, who in many eyes is the biggest star of the sport, the number one pound for pound fighter in the sport, and somebody who potentially could challenge Jon Jones and GSP and Anderson Silva, DJ, whoever you want to put in the GOAT conversation. Periera is in the conversation. And say if Periera beats Uncle Ankalaev, Jon Jones, and Tom Aspinall, I think that's it. I think he'll walk off into the sun after being a prolific kickboxer in glory and becoming the greatest heavyweight, greatest UFC fighter ever. But I kind of think that Jon Jones will end up fighting both of them. The UFC will throw massive, massive amounts of money for these two fights. Barring injury, he can get them done this year. He can headline International Fight Week. He can headline MSG next year. And then he'll be walking away with like an extra 20 to 30 million. You know, I kind of think Jon Jones will do it. I think Jon Jones will do both of the fights, but I definitely think he retires next year. Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about the? Actually, I want to go back to the BMF belt for a second. Say if I make the BMF belt between Periera and Jon Jones, honestly, maybe like you make it a different metal or something. Like I hope they make it different. Maybe maybe just straight up make a belt that says GOAT. Let them fight over it, and winner is determined GOAT, and then you can market that against Tom Aspinall. Maybe leverage that fight. But anyways, I just wanted to talk about this this recent article that I ran into. And well, I mean, I watched the interview too. I listened to him say it. But again, this is just an interesting comment by Jon Jones. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about it? I feel like a lot of people would prefer this over Jon Jones holding up heavyweight for another half a year to a year. Let me know in the comments down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, later.